Hello, how's it going, everyone? Happy Friday. I want to shout out to my mom, whose birthday was yesterday. You know, I don't know if she watches this or anybody like that. Happy birthday to your mom, to your mommy. And yeah, I'll probably check her out either today or tomorrow. Um, with that said, um, God is good, and let's get into um, some modeling. No, I'm thinking that there are certain aspects of content creation that that's a little ambiguous, that a lot of people don't really understand, like how you go from an idea into a model and then using that model for something. So the reason why you do 3D modeling could be a bunch of different things. um, it's just like drawing. You use drawing for a bunch of different things. You could use drawing to illustrate like how a product looks, like an idea. You could use a drawing, to be a final image, like a comic book, or or painting or anything like that. It could be a basis of a painting. So the same thing like with doing 3D. 3D models could have an end result for many different things. Some people do 3D models so that they could do a final image. So they build everything in 3D, and then they're able to take different different vantage points of the thing that they built in 3D. So they're able to place the camera to the left, right, off to the side, from above. So a lot of people do that, and they generate images that they use called renders, right? So they call the rendering. So the computer draws the image from the 3D object, and then they put it in Photoshop, or they do different things to further enhance the photo, right? We've done stuff like this. We've used AI to further enhance some 3D models in previous videos. So that's one avenue for 3D models. Another avenue for 3D models, a lot of people like to do 3D printing, right? So if you're doing 3D printing, you're taking a 3D model and you're making a tangible object, right? So you use a 3D printer that could generate an object, and the 3D printer uses different materials like plastic and different things. And also, there's things like laser cutters that could cut shapes out of metals and different things like that. So you could build a 3D object in the computer to not only render to make images, but you could also use it to help guide a robotic arm or any kind of robotics to make a physical object, right? And then another use of making things in 3D is to use them as game assets. So if you're making a 3D game, or even if you're making a 2D game, sometimes you could create something in 3D, and you could have the engine render it, the game engine render it into like a virtual world or a 2D world or something like that, and you could play with it, right? So use it for games. So that's another use of 3D. So so 3D art and design combines a lot of disciplines into one. So the discipline of drawing comes into 3D art and design. So if you want to come up with ideas of what to model, you need to draw. You could draw them out first. You don't need to, right? And next thing is painting. If you're a really good like this traditional painter, that skill is going to lend you well with doing 3D models, because in 3D models you have to shade the surface, and they use things like different kinds of textures to give the surface materials different properties to make your object look more realistic or more cartoonic or stylized. Those painting skills and drawing skills that you have helps you with creating surface detail for your 3D models, right? And many different things. If you're a hands-on person, you like working with your hands. You like sculpting things out of wood. You like building things. All that knowledge comes into play when you're working with 3D objects. If you're an animator, say like you used to animate stop motion, or you like drawing animations, animation. Also, the knowledge of how to do animation and how to approach animation helps with when you're doing animated 3D characters or objects or cameras or anything like that. So all these different things that I mentioned is a use of 3D and a way of using skills that you may have already existing into 3D. Now, some of the skills that you would most likely pick up while doing 3D would be more program centric, right? So you got to kind of like understand geometry to a degree, like a little bit of math, just a little bit, right? You could, I mean, if you understand a whole lot, that will even help you too. So like some programs, they interpret 3D in slightly different ways. The way that they do the bone structures, if you're doing a character, the way they would like to model an object is slightly different in each program. And once you pick up those little unique things according to the program, you're pretty much set to go. Then you could use the skills that you already have, or you could use like a base set of skills that's some 3D that you could learn and just apply to almost any program that you pick up. So a lot of people, in the past say, hey, how come you're able to pick up, using Maya or using 3D Studio Max or even Blender, or, how are you able to sculpt in Blender and 3D Code? It's because, I look for commonalities when it comes to sculpting or modeling or animation. And I look in the software to see if they have those things that could support some of the things that I kind of already know, right? Because you don't want to be learning every single iota from scratch. And I think that's the one thing that kind of deters people from approaching 3D design, because it really is, when you see a program with a ton of like text and a bunch of buttons, it seems very overwhelming. And if your approach to software is like, I need to know what the software does, number one. I need to know what I would like from the software, number two, right? It could be flipped. It could be like, I want to do something. What software out there could help with that? And then where are the tools that I need to accomplish, my ideas or my project or my assignments. If you're given an assignment, you're doing freelance or you're working for a company or you're doing something for school, right? So you look for those common tools, right? So I think like this episode here, I'm going to walk through my approach, right? And then from there you develop your own approach. So I'll walk through my approach from how I approach things in 3D. I always like to start, not all the time, but the best, I'm going to go with the ideal way, which is to come up with a concept and then, sketch the concept out. And then from that, do something in 3D and then decide what I want to do with it from that point. Do I want to render an image or an animation like a movie? Or do I want to use it in a game? Or do I want to 3D print it? Do I want it to be a real world object? Or any of the above, any other way you could think about using 3D. Some people, I've worked in the past. You guys probably may have heard me said this. That I've worked with an architectural firm for many years, for like 15 years or something, and everybody uses 3D differently, right? And I was one of the guys who was in the kind of pioneering group back in the day when 3D was still kind of new to a lot of people. And this is like, this is even before Blender became open source. We're talking about like late 90s, early 2000s. And, it had things like 3D Studio Max, it had Bryce, it had Maya, it had all these things. And what happens in working with those guys, everybody used 3D in a different way. Even before the architectural company I worked for, I worked in a television station and they used 3D in a different way. They were more about doing logos, right? Doing animated characters, doing text. It's more motion graphicsy, right? And doing elements, graphical elements. And that was really fun. So I think because I started 3D from that aspect, there wasn't a whole lot of pressure in terms of things looking realistic as much as, we have an idea, how could we accomplish it? So that's how I started. And then over time, as the software, as the renderer, as the renderers within 3D programs got better, like then I started to focus on some realism, right? How do you make a surface look shiny and realistic? How do you make it look matte, you know, like flat and rough and dull but realistic? And how do you do these different things? What are, you know, and at that point in time, different rendering techniques start coming up, like global illumination, final gathering, which I don't think exists anymore. There's more global illumination, ambient occlusion, you know, there's different, you know, specularity things, and all kinds of things start coming up, and you know, you get to learn what each thing was about and why they invented it and why they're including it into the 3D software. It was to solve problems, you know, and then you learn about the underlying what's the bread and butter of 3D, you know, of doing something in 3D. You know, like if you have something doing animation, your animation's got to look really good, because people's eye pick up on like really bad animations. You know, your eye looks for something that's off, so you gotta like find ways to kind of stop the person from focusing on the bad parts of your animation. And that means doing animation really good. So if you're like literally an animator and you're animating bones, or you're moving like some text through the air, wherever it is, you got to know how to place their camera so it looks, you know, good, not even just realistic, you know, because you hear people talk about realistic nowadays, but it's more about things looking good, right? And then you kind of edge good. When you get something good, then you edge it into realism a little bit, and then you get boom, then you all of a sudden anything you have looks great, right? So that's my approach to and that's my thinking towards 3D and art and drawing, you know. And I look at myself more as a 2D artist, and that knows 3D, has been working with 3D for most of my life. You know, that's how I see myself. But yeah, you know, I love doing the stuff, man, and making all these models look like toys, and you know, being able to use them and render them and stuff like that. So for this episode, I think, like, you know, I'm gonna start from an idea, right? And we're gonna start with something really simple, right? Let's start with a simple idea. Let's decide whether we'll probably stick with probably rendering something, or we could animate something like a movie. Like we could make a movie of it, animate something, and then we could you know, after we decide all these things, we could like go ahead and model it and put some bones in it, or animation controls, or whatever it is. And then you could take that animation, you could dump it into a compositor and composite extra effects and different things on top of that, you know. So yeah, so that you know, we might look into that. But before we even jump into all of that, you know, this is a really long intro, guys. But let's take a look at that character that I had, which was the kind of robot guy, and see where he's at right now. Welcome to the show. Hey, let's get going. Okay, so this is a guy. I got him all boned up. I just like boned him like a few minutes ago, just before the stream started, here in Blender. Now this is the thing. As good as this looks, you know, there's always gonna be things that you could improve. Let me remove the names off of these. I'm just gonna save this. So I could, you know, so like getting it to a point where, go into pose mode here, getting it to a point where you could like pose the head and stuff like that, you know, and do stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Pose the arm. And that's all you want to do, right? You're just looking to make your stuff come alive. Alright, this is the first time I'm bending their arm to take a look at what it looks like. Alright, we could come up with poses. One cool thing to do is to come up with different poses for different things. So let's see here. I think Blender has a different way of doing poses now. Is it the asset browser? Let's take a look here. You could do things like bone groups here in Blender. Okay, file browser properties, spreadsheet. Rest pose. Let's come in here. Okay, so you can set poses for your characters. Just come here, select that. Okay, I think I remember how to do this now. It's gonna come in. I'm just gonna split this and come into the dope sheet, action editor. Okay, so we're gonna apply an action. Okay, right here. So it says create pose asset. So I'm gonna. So this is all selected. Create pose asset. So I'm thinking this is the base pose. What do you call this? It literally has like where you can name stuff here. I'll call this yeah, so this is how you create poses. Okay, so now that we have a base pose, and a base pose or a T pose or whatever, a rest pose, they normally call it a rest pose. Let's call it that. All right, so the rest pose, you know, is what you need first. So let's just pose our guy into some kind of weird, wacky pose. And then posing your character, then you could like find any kind of thing that might be not working. And if you, I'm using what they call forward IK. So what that is that, you know, I'm not using any kind of weird IK properties that's gonna you know, where we need like a complex rig setup. I'm using simple rigging setup. Whenever you do this kind of stuff, you got to keep things as simple as possible for yourself. You know, so if you need a complex rig, that's great. You know, but I only do things when I'm doing things myself. I only do them through necessity, right? So if I need a complex rig, then I get one. So we're posing this guy here. Okay, I already see like a little anomaly right there, which is okay. We could fix that. Yeah, so believe it or not, that's, you know, I keep it simple for now. So one thing to tell if your character is like properly rigged and all that is to put it through paces like this. You see, now I realize there's like little stretching and stuff like that, you know, because you want to give it some extremes to do stuff with. Hey, you need those extreme poses. And even like because of the animation, you know, it could definitely inform your design. right? So this could be kind of like an extreme pose, and what would happen with this is that we could go through the model and clean up all these these stretched vertices that we probably missed, and bring the model back in submission. So let's save this as a pose. This could be like one extreme pose. Not the best, but one of. So select that, and then we could apply. We could go ahead and make a new one. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Whew. Select everything. Yep, create another pose asset. Call that new shoot. So now you could double click it, you get back your regular rest pose, and you get a new shoot pose. And animation is just, a bunch of different things going from pose to pose. So let's hide that. So regular rest pose, this is concept art. Alright, so I would have to go through, take my time and work on some of these, stretched polygons and that kind of thing. Which is really not a big deal. But one fun thing I did do, I did dump this guy into Adobe's animation software there, and it did come up with something pretty cool. So let's take a look at what that looked like. So import. I think it did a bunch as FBX. Yeah, Mixamo. That's the Adobe thing. So if you take a character, you could dump it in Mixamo and you could have it do some basic things. And the Mixamo stuff came up pretty good. So it's just definitely a good start to some of the stuff that we wanted to do here. So like a basic one would be, let's see here. Yeah, let's look at the robot hip hop dance. That's pretty funny. Let's check that one out. Yeah, I think the scale is a little bit smaller than mine, so let's see if we get that scale. Let's see if we get a good scale. Let's go 3 on that. Normally it's something like 33.3. Just gonna put our guy back in. Let's go into anime. Let's put that guy. Let's put this guy back in a mode here. Put that back into the rest pose. There we go. Okay, so it's not quite, it's probably okay. So 3 is a little bit much, so maybe probably 2. Let's import. Okay, so it's 2.5 maybe. Aha, so 2.5, let's go 2.4, and I think we might be there. It could possibly even be 2.3. Let's go 2.3. 3. Ah, 2.4. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So this is their, this is our guy doing the hip hop. We hide our guy. The maximum one goes up to 465. See what this looks like. Doing the robot doing the robot. See, this is like their motion capture. So the cool thing would be to take this guy. Take this guy's animations and put it onto our guy. Of course, you know, if it's a game, he wouldn't be doing a robot, but it's pretty funny to see it anyway. Let's stop this for a minute. here we go. And of course his hand is messed up, but that's all good. As a matter of fact, he could dance to this music. Let's check it out. You can see there's some little issues there with the thing, but it's all good. We have the animations. Let's try another one out. Start walking. Up to 32. This is him walking. This is too much shading happening in here. yeah, so this gives us a good basis for like, you know, getting some animations happening and that kind of thing. So we know the character could work, you know, and that kind of thing. All right, guys, so that's this for this. And let's jump into some of the stuff that I spoke about at the beginning, which was, you know, coming from a concept into, you know, into like some sort of character or something that we would like to use, whether it be an image or an asset for a game or something like that. So let's get into that. Let me just get rid of this. You guys here, select. Let's get rid of that. We just stick with our main guy here. All right, yeah. So obviously we need, there's some issues need to be fixed. We could do that, no problems. In the meantime, let's get popping with some other stuff. Okie dokie. Okay, where do we start? We have to start with an idea. What would you like to see? What would you like to create? Where would you like to go with this? You know, doing designs in 3D and that kind of thing. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to take a small break, come back with that idea, and we're going to start, you know, doing something small and simple. And I'll try my best to do it in a tutorial fashion also, guys. So stay tuned. Okay, I'm back, everyone. Okay, so let's see. I would like to do something that's maybe a little tribute to. Let's see if I can do something. some reason my internet is, I think it's being scanned constantly. I don't know what's going on. Okay, let's pick a simple design here. I want to do like an ammo case. Right, I want to do an ammo case that kind of represents ammunition in the game that I'm making. Right? So that's as simple as we could get. It's basically a box. So let's do that. Let's make an ammo case. So first of all, I'm just gonna save this guy here. That's from, that's the end of that guy and everything to do with that. Let's design an ammo box. Now, the ammo box in the original game is basically like a red. So let's draw this out. So let's fire up a drawing app. Let's use tools that you could use. So Gimp is a good tool. It's a good Photoshop replacement. It's really awesome. So let's use this. I'm gonna put this on the Wacom. Let's put this on the Wacom tablet here, and let's go File, New. Right, and all we're doing is drawing like a simple ammo case. Go to pencil. Alright, so there you go. So basic box. Anyone could. The point is, anyone could do this. Right? We're gonna create this one, and we're gonna create a concept. Seeing that this is the concept for the ammo box, I want to cut a little wedge out of here. Okay, this is probably like the lid. Maybe there's small cuts like this. trying this thing here. Go full screen on this. I like the fact in the game you could flip over your Wacom pen and it will automatically go to an eraser, which I think is pretty cool. Make this eraser a little bit smaller. There it looks better. Flip it back over to get your pencil. Designing an ammo base. Just give this the old wedgie. It's the future, you know, there's like wedged angles. Another good idea when you're coming up with this kind of stuff is reference. You hear people say use reference. I like to use reference, and the way I use reference is mostly for inspiration and information. So it kind of informs like what things should kind of be and look like. But at the same time, you don't want it to dictate too much because your design will be boring. So it may have been some things that some people see, and it kind of stops you from thinking about something interesting. You want to do it up to a point. So I'm gonna look up some ammo boxes in a minute after this initial idea. You know, I kind of sketched it out, and then we'll change it according. We could change stuff according to what we see. You could get straight lines and you just have to mark in and hold shift and control and get a straight line. Okay, so that's the general shape for our ammo box. Let's look up ammo boxes online. So we're not totally stealing, we're just getting information and inspiration for what one actually looks like. Ammunition box. Some of them have kind of like a flap. This one looks interesting, kind of raised side. Look at this one. Oh, sorry guys, I know the music was kind of loud. Let me just drop that a bit. Okay, so yeah, so you got these different boxes here. A lot of these look like World War I, World War II style And we could incorporate some of that element in here. This one was really striking. Maybe it slides into something else. So let's create something like that. You know, as I said before, like these things get us informed, like where we go with this stuff. Inspiration and information. I think I'm messing up the design here. Let's just keep it loosey-goosey. I don't have to get so literal with it. This is just concept art. Okay. And the concept art could be a little bit loose. Maybe this wraps, this is a thing that wraps around here, wraps around there. Just kind of hint at something like that. Maybe this is the handle here. So maybe this extends out and there's another like kind of handle in the background there. And the box actually ends right here. Okay, and you could point things out too, because remember this is concept art. You can handle. So you remember how this should work. So maybe the handle is like completely, you know, you could do the handle to look like a completely separate component. Oh man, let's see. So yeah, maybe you want to kind of square this off. Do something like this. And then maybe something like this. Let's make for the other handle. When you're doing line drawings, one good way to like kind of separate objects is to kind of draw like an extra thick line around the component that you want to look separated, or twice as thick. You draw everything else as not as thick. So maybe that's like the handle. And a handle can be fancy, right? It doesn't have to be straight like this. We could start doing fancy things. Let's do something like this. So you know we're gonna 3D model it. And then we want the handle, we want it to look like maybe like fingers could fit in there to pick up the ammo. Okay. And it's okay if you don't get things perfect. Like I'm not getting this like that perfect at all. The important thing is that the idea is kind of coming through. Okay, so this is an idea for an ammo box handle. Maybe we, instead of having that straight, we do something like this, so that the, you know, like fingers could fit through or whatever it is. You know, probably maybe we could add more like of a grip. So instead of this small thing, we could add like a bunch. So there's like 4 fingers could fit in there, you know. Okay, let's deal with the rest of it. So this is straight. I kind of don't like that. So, you know, so as you see things, you know, you just kind of work with the design. Maybe do something like this. Kind of break up that linear line there. So maybe the handle is something that could be totally separated out from everything. You know, and it's just used to pick the ammo thing up. I mean, you could come up with these ideas. That don't mean you have to necessarily execute on them. It kind of helps you, you know, I wouldn't have to display all that in the game. It just helps you with the design, come up with ideas. Just I'm showing the thickness to try to separate this box from this. Okay, so we know this part feeds in. So I mean, I would like to chamfer this part here. Let me chamfer, like make a, you know, make a bevel on it. Now, something like this, if you already know kind of like the things that you're aiming for, you can just go straight to 3D with something like this. But, you know, I feel like, you know, this would be something cool for us to explore together. Let's vary this bottom up a little bit. Okay, so here we are, creating this ammo box together. Alright, so we started with a cube, and then we're just taking like little notches out of it. Alright, and the more little notches we take out, the more it gets looking a little bit unique. Let's get rid of this line right here, and don't be afraid to erase things and redraw things or whatever it is according to what it is you're doing. For this handle grip. So maybe this is made out of kind of like a rubber. Corrugated non-slip. See, as I think of things, you know, like a corrugated non-slip kind of rubber item. So it's, you know, certain kind of plastic, so it's easy or soft or hard plastic or hard rubber. So it's comfortable to pick up. Now you gotta think, like, how is this ammo case gonna serve, you know, wherever it's going? Is it going into a tank? Is it, you know, is it going into a gun? Is it just you open it and take the bullets out? What are you doing? So I'm thinking with this goes into like a gun, so it feeds. So this whole thing's open. Probably everything on hinges open, and there's something inside of it that hooks up into a gun, and then you take this and you throw it away maybe. So if it hinges, then, you know, you want to draw hinges. So let's draw some hinges right here and here, and just kind of hint that everything opens out. But that's pretty neat, you know. I didn't think of that idea, you know, until now. So I mean, this is all on the fly, you know, guys. That's the whole point of doing design. You know, drawing first is that you come up with ideas on the fly. Once you start doing 3D and you commit to something, sometimes, you know, it's kind of hard. You're hard pressed to want to change it sometimes. But with just some lines and stuff, you could change, you know, you could go ahead and change a bunch of stuff. You know, like what things mean and all that sort of stuff. So instead of this being dug down, maybe it's on the same level. So I'm gonna get rid of those kind of depth, this thick depth lines. So it feels like this panel is on the same level to a degree. See here. Get rid of this double line here. It'd be cool if the panel splits open. If each panel splits open. And if you want to remember how things work, you could draw like a small diagram of like what you're thinking. So like like how we're doing this, and this is the design. Over here to the side, I could draw like a small diagram of like this, what this might look like opened. So let's say I'm gonna do something like this. So it's gonna open, the box itself is gonna open out. I'm gonna do a small diagram of that. So let's see. So these are this side. Again, you know, you don't have to be, you know, 100% technical product person, industrial designer to just, you know, add a little flavor into your own designs. So I'm trying to call out this guy here. This is a fold here. This is a whole shape right here. Instead of this line happening right here, I think I want the line happening right here. Okay. And this unfolding is going to represent right here. Let's do something like this. It's all good, guys. This is where the handle is going to be. See that? And the handle is actually underneath this. You can just do a little call out like this. Make little notes for yourself. So see that? I just did ammo box open. Just a little idea of it being able to unfurl, to open out. And this is how it's locked. It's locked like this, clack, clack, clack. So maybe these parts want to be rid of this. So it's going to open right there. And we could almost mirror this bottom part back on top so that, you know, it has like that, you know, it has like a certain look to it. It's all good. We're still in the realm of just drawing lines, so we could always do adjustments. Just take your time, you know, like if things are not working out, you know, just take it down like one line at a time. If you focus on just getting one line correct, then everything else will work. Then you correct that one line, then you correct the other line. Yeah, this ammo case is coming out pretty good, guys. So one thing you gotta remember to do whenever you're doing drawings like this is to save. The concept art. Alright. Call this ammo case. Alright, so you see how I'm trying to like mirror back what's going on in the bottom here. And you don't have to get it perfectly mirrored or anything. It just has to describe where you want to go with things. You know, when you're drawing and when you're doing this kind of stuff, it pays to take some of the pressure off yourself to get things perfect. You just have to get them to read, right? You just gotta look like, okay, this is what this could be. In my mind's eye, this stuff, like based upon the imagery that we pulled up here, right here, this imagery right here. You know, it looks like there's grooves and stuff to be, you know, for it to fit into different things. So you see we started kind of like with our own idea of a shape. Then we looked at some concept, we looked at some real world examples of these things. And all of a sudden, you know, we have a different idea about how this stuff works out. And then we add that to our concept. So the reason why I'm doing it like this is because it's like the design is not real world design, it's kind of future design, right? So you want the future to have future shapes, but have real world familiar elements for somebody who might know exactly what this is. Now, would somebody be able to watch exactly this shape and know exactly what it is? Probably not. But if you have it in a game and you know, it is told in the game that this is where they get ammo, it should make some sort of like sense. Alright, so is this perfectly perspective out and all that? No. Perspective on this isn't perfect. It's almost like an isometric type look. That's only because I want to describe certain areas. Okay, well this is this and then that is that. You know, and to me that makes sense. What if we carry this hard edge all the way? No, let's leave here soft. So we got some hard hooks here. Let's remove this part here and let this part flow into that part there. Flow into that part. And let's offset it a little bit. It does have to open up. I'm just gonna offset it. Now, am I going to remember to do all those little nuances in 3D when it comes to modeling this? I hope so, because we had the concept art and we can look at it. Okay, let's see what else. What else can we do? What can we do in the drawing here to lend this? Now I noticed that the ammunition in the actual image has like a stripe, a marker, so that people could kind of tell what it is. You know, here we could put like an icon on here, right? You could put like a bullet icon, that kind of thing, and that might actually help, you know, sell what this is. I wonder if there's anything else we could do with the shape on this design. I like the idea of setting this, making this part here probably a little thick, and setting back this piece here. So you could do little optical tricks like that, just, you know, to see which pieces are on top of each other. See, like what I'm doing here, kind of setting this as this layer here is on top rather than on the bottom. You could do stuff like that. Nothing's wrong with that. Of course, you're gonna have to redo this part here. Nothing is wrong with doing some things over if it's called for it. Alright, we know that this part here is on top. Alright, we're gonna set that. It should be kinda on top. Back a bit. I want to offset this part here, pull this back a bit so this part looks like it's on top. Let's look at that. We try to bring this part here on top and set these parts here back on the bottom. Yeah, and I think that kind of works. You know, good to give these things like a little bit of layering to it. Even the handle could probably like look like it's knocked back. So there's like 3 layers to the box. There's like layer 1 here with the handle, then layer 2 here with the top, and then the outer case here is like layer 3. You know, you can even do things like a kind of like a cartoon shadow. I'll show you, like you go like this, something like that. Just gonna do like little cross hatching like this. No cross hatching, hatching. And then cross hatching is when you come back again. You could call it cross hatching, it's all good. Something like that, to kind of hint at that shadow on the bottom. Probably not, nah. Let's don't do that. Let's keep it clean. I'll just erase it. Nice clean erased. Okay, so look at that. We got like a pretty nifty ammo box. It's pretty simple. You could probably add little you could add little instructions on it, like which way should it go in and all these kinds of things. Let's do something like that. So just add these little triangle things. As if like to say, only put it in this way. No, these are grooves that it lines up to or something. Here we got a little doodad like that. Come back with a double line here. So this is kind of actually going to be hinged. And let's add some kind of decal arrow things. Something like that. And as I said before, you know, you don't have to worry about getting these things perfect, because you know, it's just informed ideas that are going to be executed in 3D anyway. Something like that. And we can make sure all these things are equaled out. narrow bevel edge there. But all this stuff has got to unfurl. Now, all that could be set straight. Okay, so look at that. I think that's pretty cool. All right, guys. So I'm gonna let you simmer on this one, man. Let's see if we can apply a little bit of color, and then we just want to apply some flat colors. Keep this as simple as we can. I like the military green stuff. Let's go with black, yellow, and red. I'll go with kind of like a slate black to make a new layer. Make that layer multiplier layer. Use the lasso tool. Let's just select out this shape. Okay, we're gonna just drop that slate gray on here, like so. Alright, and we're just gonna be very basic with this. So the yellow parts are gonna be on top. We'll keep the slate gray in the middle, top and bottom for the yellow part, and then the red parts are just gonna be very sparingly. So I'm gonna go like a little school bus. And a school bus yellow, a little dirty, a little bit like that. Let's come in and select that. Let's just drop this in here. Yeah, something like that. Oops. Yeah, I'm just using the lasso tool to select out the shapes that we want colored. Just missed a spot here. I'm going to select that back. Okay. Oop. Spot right here. Okay, and then I'm going to use red sparingly. I'm going to use red for the handle, red for these things. A little brighter red. No, that's a straight up red, but kind of reddish color. So you see, we kind of took the yellow striping from that concept. We're kind of using it a little bit. All right, so this is, you know, this is our creation tutorial, guys. Taking a simple as possible concept with a box. I mean, it can be simpler than doing a box, right? And even, you know, if you're starting for the first time, even this might be a little challenging. Don't be discouraged. You know? As you go on, you know, things get better. Okay, so we're just going to select this shape out. Whatever. I'm coming back in here and do a minus on there. It'll be cleaner. Okay. Now let's drop the red on here and just see what that looks like. Yeah, okay. So that kind of lends to everything else that we've been doing so far. Okay, let's go with a slightly lighter gray for these stripes right here. I would have gone with the olive drab green for this, but I think I'll be accused of using green too much in my designs. So we're gonna stick with this gray. I think the gray actually works. Because I mean, if you have different, not to sell anything out, but if you happen to have different suits, then you know the ammo box should be somewhat neutral. Something like that. Let's go a little darker. Yeah, something like that. With a slight hint of red there, or whatever it is. Yeah, so I personally think this looks great. You know, we could go in, you could end this here as just being super informative of what it is we need to do. We could go ahead and start shading it up and that kind of thing and have it look all pretty and stuff like that, you know. But you know, if you're the person that's gonna be modeling this, you probably won't need too much more than something like this. Let's just do like a slight shade on this and differentiate the different planes. Alright, we're just keeping it as basic and as simple as we can. Something like that. Yeah. That kind of differentiates that plane there a bit. You know, we got some stuff happening here. come in with his pencil. Oops. Okay, so basically Alright, anyway guys, so I'm gonna leave this as is. I got a bunch of different things I gotta run out and do. I think we're gonna end this here for now. And we're gonna pick up tomorrow. Hey! Concepting stage. Hey, how's it going, Mulo? I just saw your Mulo, I just saw your your text chat. Hey, I'm sorry, The only way I could actually sometimes realize somebody's talking with me in chat is if they do like a voice to text, or if they do some sort of chiming here. We have some sound alerts on here. So yeah, sorry about it. I just saw it. Yeah, you actually asked me. Yeah, definitely. I thought I would start with something simple. What do you think? I thought I would start with something simple and work from a concept, with the viewer, with anyone that's watching here, and work up to, good taking a futuristic armor box, right? Yeah, so we started with a shape that, I thought was cool, and then we looked at an actual ammo box. We looked at several here on Google actually, picked out a couple. And I try to apply, some sort of, some sort of elements from the images that we were seeing. Now that I'm thinking of it, now we could in this here, we could call out different materials. So definitely this handle is some sort of rubber gel. So it's comfortable to hold, but it's hard, right? It's a future, so we could do that. So I'm just gonna come in here and just do like just a stupid kind of shade on this. Something like that. So I'm just trying to describe what the material could be. Alright, something like that. Let's come back here. Okay. Oh no, did I draw in the wrong layer? I did, guys. But stuff like that would happen. It's all good. Let's I'm gonna bring up my history. Let's get back. Let's get back to basics here. I'm moving a little ahead of myself here. Okay, here we go. So far back we could go. We should be able to go. Okay, we could go back pretty far. If something like this happens, you know, don't panic. We won't make mistakes. Okay, I'm gonna go back on the color layer. And actually, you could lock the bottom layer so you don't draw on it, move it or anything like that. So you go back up to the color layer. I'm gonna do a better job this time at painting on it. Pick one of these brushes. Yeah, glow emissive pulsating area. Yeah, like it's lit up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally could do that. You know, we could have it do all that stuff. Remember that bad guy we did in the last stream? I totally have him dancing and stuff now, so he's rigged up and ready to be a bad guy. If you're just in case if you were wondering. Okay, I think I'm overdoing it now. So yeah, anyway, so we know that's a red handle. No, I can make notes on this. Let's make notes. Let's continue. Why isn't my... Anyways, so come on. Come on. So rubber grip. I put black metal. Maybe like aluminum or something. Aluminium. Brushed steel, brushed metal. That's what it should be. Black brushed metal. No, brushed metal. Whenever you see brush metal, it's kind of like you see these line patterns on on things from, like, if you take like a wire brush and you rub it against the metal itself, you get these kind of scratches, but it's uniformed, right? Brush metal. I'll put like right here, maybe these, I know for sure these are lit up, so these are a bit emissive. Light. You know. Or maybe the caps on top, maybe it's like plastic or something, but like, why would they be plastic, you know? It's like the cheapest part of the thing. So maybe they're just a different metal, right? And they hinge this way. So these hinge this way, and then these just have one hinge. So I'll do like this, if it hinged. Painted metal. Right, and these are also hinged too. I'll put like plated hinged or something, whatever. Okay, let's just put hinge, multi-hinge. Multi-hinge black. So this is there's multiple hinges happening here. You see like how these have like this straight line here? Maybe we cut into that. I don't know. Am I going to screw it up? You won't know unless you give something a shot, right? So maybe this goes up like this. Let's try something. Let's do this. It's gonna be a weird hinge. I think this might work. Let's stick with the idea behind this. Right? And it's okay if it's not all uniform, you know, we could get it definitely uniformed in 3D. That's one good thing 3D is really good about, is keeping things nice and uniformed. In uniform. Excuse me. Yep. So yeah, maybe it's like that, right? Maybe it's like that, so. Okay, so I think we beat this horse to death right here. Okay, so I broke up some of the straight lines, you know, try to make it look like something is happening here. a little bit different. I don't know if I think a straight line, straight edges was pretty cool, but we're gonna keep it a futuristic theme and do this kind of stuff to it. Okie dokes. All right, guys. So this is pretty short. I'm not gonna jump into Blender and start modeling this, or even in 3D Code. We're gonna leave that off for the next stream, which most likely might be tomorrow is Saturday. So I might actually pick up on this either Saturday or Monday for sure. But we're gonna leave it here and have you, you know, just kind of think about it for a minute, and you could follow the video and see the steps I took to get to this point with the concept, and then we're gonna hey, see you later, Merlor. Thanks for stopping by for sure. You know, I always enjoy the things that you have to say and the fact that you interact with me here on the chat. You know, if you want, you know, don't forget to, you know, if you're not on my Discord, you could definitely join it if you like. You don't have to, but you know, if you want to speak with me outside of streaming. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is a pretty short stream. You know, I didn't mean for it to be any kinds of short, but apparently it's kind of looking like that because I think I want to stream as well. Have a good one. Thanks a lot, sir. Have a good one, and enjoy. Really weird free music, but hey, that's what we got. Anyways, guys, yeah, so this is what we got. You know, this is the end result. You know, you come up with a basic design of what you want to do, and you can't do anything simpler than a box, right? So, you know, so that's where we started. We started with a box. We cut the box up, you know, doing some drawing, and then we add some colors to inform the colors that we want to use. And we have a little story behind it. You know, we used actual real world reference, and we saw some World War II ammo boxes, which is kind of fun. And yeah, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna create a game asset out of this in 3D. We could go straight to Blender and do this. To do this in 3D Code will take literally a lot quicker than doing it in Blender, but we could do it in Blender, and it's a lot of fun doing things in Blender also. So either way, I might try to mix the two so that, you know, if you're interested in 3D Code, you could see it done in 3D Code, and if you're interested in Blender, you could also see part of it done in Blender. Okay, guys, so maybe the thing is that we retopo it in Blender. Maybe that's the thing. So, all right, guys, so I'll see you guys later. This is xsinick. Thanks for hanging out and checking us out. And yeah, tomorrow, what's happening is I normally have like a chill out session where I just come online here. It has nothing to do with what I'm creating or anything like that. It's totally about me hanging out with you and you sharing with me. We could play games, we could watch anime, we could listen to music. Let me snooze. I'm gonna snooze this ad here for a minute. Boinks. Figure out how to do that. Yeah, so Saturday hangouts. I mean, a lot of my followers on, you know, on Discord like to hang out with me on Saturday, you know, on Saturday stream. So we could draw together, play games together. It's all fun, right? So Saturday around 10 o'clock or so, or maybe even earlier than that, or maybe later, but somewhere in Saturday around 10, I'll be on. And yeah, feel free to join in and chill out for like, you know, for like an hour or two or whatever it is, you know, and yeah, we got fun. So I'll see you guys later. So this is this ammo box part 1. And big up to Merlor, and big up to Red the Gingerbeard Fool, big up to Sky Remax, big up to BC Sit. You know, big up to Mystical White Rose, you know, and big up myself and everyone else there who you know, who checks me out from time to time. And if you normally check me out and you just lurk and you don't want to come in and hear your name or me point anything out, if you just watch me on a regular basis, I just want to say hello to you. Take it easy. Have a good one. God bless.